Hi there, my name's Alistair Kennedy and I'm the Sociable Social Worker, and I give practical advice to social workers and newly qualified social workers. And in this video we're going to look at what not to say in a social work job interview. Now, I've done a lot of these job interview videos and they're really popular, and no wonder. There's loads of new social workers coming out after the COVID pandemic and they're wanting loads of new jobs. So I'm going to give you top tips on what not to say. So the first top tip I'm going to say to you is, if you're a newly qualified social worker, don't talk about your mum and dad. I know it sounds a bit strange, but recently somebody in a social work interview said to me, yes, I'm really organised because my mum and dad think that my bedroom's a bit tidier. I actually couldn't believe that she actually said that. And then there was someone else that said, yes, I was allowed to have a puppy dog during the pandemic, which gave me some more responsibility and which makes me more rounder as a social worker. So don't mention your mum and dad, don't mention, pets. Just be professional, stay professional. Tip number 2, make sure you know the job that you're applying for, and make sure you've read the person spec and the job spec and you know actually what you're applying for. I had somebody recently who applied for a fostering job, turned up, and then halfway through the interview stopped me and said, I thought this was an adoption job. And I was like, okay. Now, you might be applying to lots of different agencies, you might be applying for lots of different local authorities or different private companies. Just make sure you realise which job you've applied for. And obviously with CVs as well, make sure you say to agencies so they're not sending out your CV to lots and lots of different and the same agency, because employers will get a bit fed up if they keep getting the same CV. Top tip number 3, and I've classed this as because it's near bonfire night in November. Remember, because you need to remember your legislation. If you're going for a job in childcare, you need to remember the legislation that underpins your practice. It is unacceptable if you don't know the legislation. I'm not going to tell you here. I have other videos that do that. Go and have a look at them. But it's unacceptable. If you're in adult care, you need to know them as well. You just need to know. And also you need to know what's the difference between guidance and legislation, and you need to know its specifics for the job. It would be helpful if you knew some of the dates for some of the legislation. That would be really helpful. You'd probably score a lot better as well. So there you go. Remember your legislation, which is different from guidance. Top tip number 4, remember your personal bias. I was in an interview recently where they asked me about special guardianship orders in fostering and looked after children, and I have quite a strong view about special guardianship orders. I'll not go into it right now, but they didn't take to it. And one of the reasons why they didn't take to it was I hadn't really read the development plan for that local authority, and quite rightly they said, you're not really for us. So remember your personal bias, and a key thing to that, don't follow what I did, and is read up on your local authority development plans, annual reports for any companies that you potentially work for. Top tip number 5, you might get lots of left field questions, but what you mustn't say is, I don't know. Just make sure you don't say, I don't know. That'll shut down the interview completely. You'll get 0 points. What you can ask the interviewer is to say, can I have a minute to think about it? Jot down some notes, come back. Obviously, don't try and fluff some of the detail. If you really don't know, then say, look, that's not within my sphere of knowledge, but I understand I've got lots of development to do, and can I come back to you that after the interview? Now, they might accept that, they might not, but it's better than saying, I don't know. So there you have it, a quick short video about what not to say in a social work interview. If you've got a social work interview coming up, leave some comments, let me know how you got on. If you like this video, drop it a like, that'd be fantastic. And want to subscribe, that'd be great for the channel. And I'll see you all soon.